I'm tired. Hey, thanks for coming into this live stream. Live stream number 3,437. No, I don't really know, but it's been a few now. Nowhere near that number. Here, I got to fix my box. But thanks for coming in. This week, we were going to do a bunch of Linkin Park riffs, but as I started diving deep into that Hybrid Theory album, or diving sort of deep, I got working on One Step Closer, the riff I just played. And I realized how cool that tune was, especially for that time. That was 2000. I was teaching a lot at 2000, and I ended up teaching this song to a lot of people. And anyway, I thought it was, it's got a lot of cool stuff in it. So we're just going to devote this live stream to... Actually, you made it in. How are you? We're going to devote this live stream to One Step Closer. So the link to the material is in the description. So you just have to register to get it, although I am debating on just opening it up to make it free so that it will be easier for people so you don't have to log in. In fact, how easy, can I do that really, really quickly right now? I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to make, and then I can just post this link right in the description. So let's change this to... Oh. Why is it not letting me do that? What? Oh, because it's in the member section. Okay, wait a second. If I take this off, no parent page, and update it, now I think we should be good. And then I'm just going to post a link right here in this chat. Yes, this should work. I believe this should work. Let's see. I'm going to launch this. And we're going to jump right into the riff. So drop D tuning is where we're starting. Yeah, public link. Here we go. I'm going to just copy and paste this link. Copy it. And then back to here we go. You're amazing. Awesome. That's good to hear. I'm feeling pretty good today too. Okay, here's the link. All right, so that'll take you right to it. Now that way you don't even have to be logged in. The material's there. I'm only going to leave it up for the stream though, so you'll. And actually, I know that you're a member of that, right? So, okay, so let's do it. Oh wait, I need the material open myself. Oh shoot, how am I going to do that? How do I see the material? I guess I have to go back and forth between the material. Okay, so first up, just a second on drop D tuning. I've done a bunch of videos on drop D tuning, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. But so basically, what we're doing is we're making our low E string sound 1 octave lower than our 4th string, which is our D string. So I'm just going to bring this back up really quick. So now, regular tuning, or close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my D string, my 4th string, so my ears hear the D, and then I'm going to drop this 6th string, my low E string, to make it sound like D 1 octave lower. So I'm going to hit the D first. On most acoustic guitars, it ends up being about a half a turn. Obviously, you can't use a half a turn. You have to use your ear. And now when I play all 3 of these strings, I'm hearing a D power chord. All right. So if I was going to bring it back up, I would just hit my open E, so my ears can hear that. And I'm going to bring it back up that way. Okay, so I'm dropping it again, open D. It's always best to come below the pitch and then back up into the pitch. So the last thing you did was increase tension on the fretboard, not decrease tension on the fretboard. Okay, D power chord. So if you're on the page, then the link below, and again, if you're watching this later after the live stream is over, there will be a link, but you'll have to register. The material will be free, but you'll have to follow that link to register, and then you'll find all of this material from today's lesson. All right, so let's see. So that's our drop D tuning. Now we're moving down to part 2. We're gonna get right into this riff. Actually, I want to get into the riff first, and then we'll come back to the harmonics and talking a little bit about the harmonics. But I think it's going to be more fun to learn this riff. However, just before we do the riff, one little tiny thing. There's one very consistent rhythm used through a good chunk of this tune, even though we're going to learn there's different parts of the song. But there's one consistent rhythm. And it's on the, if you're following the link, it's where it says intro part 1. So the intro riff, which has the harmonics, we'll come back to that, and then intro part 1. So we're seeing we're just gonna play the D power chord for now. 2 eighth notes. Remember, if quarter notes would be on every beat, eighth notes I would double. 16th I would then double that. So we have 2 eighth notes on beat 1, 1 and. Now, if you notice on beat 2, we have a 16th note and then a dotted eighth note. So we're going to go a very quick 2E, 2E. So we're going to go 1 and 2E, down, 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 up. This is the rhythm that we see like through so many different parts of this tune. Kind of cool? Okay, let's do it. Let's learn the riff. The intro riff is probably the most interesting, I think, because of these natural harmonics. So natural harmonics we play them by this first one. We're going to play the 5th fret of our low, normally E string, but D string right now, right? Because of the, hold on, I got to come back to the chat in case I'm missing anything. So we put our finger over top of that 5th fret, but your finger touches the string but does not press. If you press, we'll hear a note. And this is going to be called a natural harmonic. We're going to find we have them on the 12th, the 7th, the 5th. You can kind of get them on the 4th, but a little harder. And sometimes you can get them on the 3rd, but a little harder to hear. Anyway, and later in the stream we'll talk a little bit about exactly what's happening with those harmonics. But for now, we're going to play this open D, then we're going to play this harmonic on the 5th fret of that same string. And that's our 2 eighth notes we talked about in the rhythm we just did. 1 and, 1 and. And you may have to experiment a little bit with moving that finger around to get that harmonic to ring really clear. 1 and. Now, on beat 2, if you're on that page with me, oh, so wait a second. Where are we? Oh, yeah. So we're back looking at the intro riff. I noticed I wrote the notes on the staff for you underneath, right? And I don't use tab because I know I say this a lot, but you know I want to know the 5th fret of my A string to be a D, not a 5 on a string. Nothing against tab; it has its place, but I like to know what the notes on the fretboard are. So, but I wrote them underneath the staff, so you don't have to worry about reading music. You'll still be able to follow along. And this way you're learning your notes and rhythms. So anyway, so there's our low D, then this harmonic on the 5th fret, same string. I put the 5 in brackets. Then on beat 2, we're going to play the harmonic on the 7th fret. So we're going the open D, harmonic on 5th, harmonic on 7th. 1 and 2. So far, those are just 1 and 2, right? 2 eighth notes. That harmonic on the 7th is actually a 16th, but if we're talking about just falling on beat 2, it doesn't even matter for right now. We know that it just falls on beat 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Now here's where that rhythm that we talked about just a minute ago comes in. We're going to grab this E on the, oh, that's what I realized I forgot. I forgot to make a fretboard to go along with this. Okay, that's okay. This E is the 7th fret of your A string, of your 5th string. That's going to be right after beat 2. 1 and 2. I'm just down picking the whole thing. We could up pick that E, but it's probably just as easy just to downpick the whole thing for now. 1 and 2 E. Now, when we break our 16th notes, we count them as 1 E and a. So it just happens to be that the harmonic is 2, and then this E falls on the E. So it works both ways. 1 and 2 E. All right? 1 and 2 E. Then we're going to go to the 8th fret of your low E string, which would normally be a C, but because we're drop D tuned, it's a B flat. I'm using my pinky. I guess because if you try to use your 3rd finger, there's not a lot of time to make that switch. You could, I suppose, play the harmonics with 1 and 2, and then that E with 2 if you don't like using your pinky. But I mean, I'm a big fan again of letting that pinky get strong. Don't let it, you know, if we avoid it all the time, it starts to get weak, right? So 1 and 2. So that B flat, again, if we weren't tuned down, this would be a C, but because this is a D string now, this means this is a B flat. That's falling right on beat 3, right on the beat. Tick, 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 tick. I should have a metronome on. That's okay. My ticks were pretty even. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I forgot to say this, but they're tuned down another half step. So they're doing drop D tuning, but they also have all of their strings down another half step. So their E is actually E flat, their B is B flat, their G is G flat, D is D flat, A is A flat, low D is low D flat. So it sounds like the song, but we're a half step higher than where they play it, right? So technically, if we wanted this is the actual key they're playing it in. Okay, so I'm glad that you mentioned that because I wanted to say that too. So if anybody here is watching this now or watching this later and you go to play along with the record, it won't work. You'd have to tune all your strings down a half step. And I would show you, you know, sometimes I show how to play lessons in standard tuning, but so they do match the record, like Sweet Child of Mine, for example. Like it's really played there, but he's tuned down a half step, so it sounds like this. So if we don't want to worry about tuning our guitar down, we just can move the riff down a half step. In this one, I can't do that though because of those harmonics. So we have to play it half step higher. So let me bring this back up. Oh wait, that's not where I'm supposed to bring it up to though. Bear with me. Fun about the drop D tuning is you can just hit those low strings and use it as a drone tone, and then you can just goof around. Okay, sorry. Little off track. Let's come back. Okay, back to the riff. So here's what we had so far. Open D on beat 1, harmonic on the 5th fret of the and of beat 1, harmonic on the 7th fret, these are both on that 6th string, on beat 2, so 1 and 2. Then we're going to go grab this E right after beat 2. This 8th fret, which is a B flat because we're tuned down, falls on beat 3. And then we're going to hit that 7th fret harmonic again on the and of beat 3. So 3 and 3 and. I know that's a little weird to go pinky, then the 3rd finger. That may feels strange, but practice will get it there. And then we're almost done. Open D on beat 4. So 1. And then last note, 3rd fret of that low D string for an F. Isn't that cool? That's a cool riff. That's a great riff. This song was so huge when it came out too. They were doing something quite different at that particular time, and they blew up because of it. I was going to say one more thing about that. Yeah, so notice that rhythm that we first did, 1 and 2 E, 1 and 2 E. That's like, here it is on the first part of that measure, right? And here it is again. So we keep hearing this over and over. How are we doing so far? Everybody good? Pele, how are you? Can I play something from AC/DC? I totally can, and I would love to. This particular stream, I'd put some material together for One Step Closer, and so I figure I'd like to kind of get all the way through this, but was there something from AC/DC that you had in mind? I've done a few AC/DC songs on the channel. I did a little weird on the acoustic. I think I did. I've done a few AC/DC songs on this channel, so you could search them, Pele, if you want. Or if you have something, I might be willing to hit it at the end. I think for right now, though, we'll continue with the Linkin Park, just simply because it's what I planned on doing. No, I don't care. All the songs are amazing. Yeah, AC/DC is amazing for sure. I love Angus Young's guitar playing. I always have. And I think I even teach the solo for I can't remember even. I can't believe I even remember it, and on an acoustic. But that's from no, we were tuned down. Normally it wouldn't be tuned down though. AC/DC, that's a band that always stayed in standard tuning like their whole career. Thunderstruck is hard to play. Yes and no to answer that question, Pele, but you should definitely just stay on my channel here and just search up Thunderstruck. And actually, if you want to become a limited access member on the site, there's a link in the description. You can join, and there's material on the inside to go with that too. And if you don't find it in there, just hit the contact button, and because just say, hey, I was in the stream, and I'll make sure you get it. But it isn't hard when you get the hang of this kind of this playing a note and pulling off. Once you kind of get the hang of that, it's not that bad. It takes a little while to get that speed up, but because it kind of does the same thing all the way through. But yeah, I don't know. And then Pele, maybe if you're around next Saturday, because this is what we sometimes do, is N-Chain made it in. Yay! We didn't see you last week. I'm so glad you made it in. But Pele, if you're interested, if you want to be around for next Saturday, we could devote that one to AC/DC and to one song if you want. I would love to do a live stream on Thunderstruck because I already have that material together, so it makes it good. N-Chain, it's good. How are you? How are things with you? Oh yeah, okay. Thanks, Pele. That's awesome. Yeah. So next Saturday, if you, I'm game to do some AC/DC, but for now, check the channel out and see what you find. Yeah, it has been a while, N-Chain, for sure. Do you have your guitar in hand? Because we're having fun with One Step Closer. Here, I'm going to post the link again. It's in the member section, and I know, N-Chain, you are a paying member, and for that, I am very grateful. And I'll say thanks again. It's awesome. But it's also right now during the live stream. I just put it in the. It's free. Oh, thanks, Pele, for subbing. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, man, it'd be great to see you in here next Saturday. I'll make myself a note for AC/DC, maybe Thunderstruck, or you know, if you want to do that next Saturday, we'd devote that live stream to that, because that would be fantastic. I'm all for that. So anyway, N-Chain, I just posted a link, so it makes it a little easier to find than having to sort through the member section there for a moment. So, but anyway, we're doing, if you have your guitar in hand, here's what we're doing. That Linkin Park tune, remember that tune, One Step Closer? Like their first, I think it was their first big hit. I think it was that and then Crawling, but I think One Step Closer was the first hit. Oh, my computer's gonna die. Hold on, I just gotta plug it in. Bear with me. I'll use that opportunity to have a sip of my coffee. Okay, so let's go, let's jump back in. So we did the intro riff, and if you're on that page with me, you can see where it says intro riff. I have the notes written on underneath. And then where it says intro part 1, that's the rhythm that we talked about. That's all the way through the song. Now let's jump into the verse riff, because I love this riff. I think this might be my favorite riff. So it's right below the intro riff. It says, I don't have a big headline, I should, but it just says verse part 1. And you'll see there's a few different notation files and a few fretboards there to our right. So yeah, did that link open up easy enough, N-Chain, for you? I thought maybe, obviously I like the idea of people registering and coming in and being part of the community, but I also thought that when people are coming into the stream to get the material right, they it's a bit of, you know, they have to go register, then they have to check their email, and then, you know, probably goes to their spam folder, they have to reconfirm, and then they have to get in the member section, and then they have to find. So I thought that's too much if somebody's just coming in right now. So that's why I'm just posting the link here in the I should also post it. Does it let me edit it right on this page too? Let me see if it does. Or can I edit it in the middle of a live stream? I don't know. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about that. Oh, please, did I just, uh-oh. Am I still streaming, or did I just kill myself? I'm not sure what happened. That's hurting my wrist. Darn it, I shouldn't have tried to do that. Everything's okay? Link works fine? Okay, I guess the stream is still going? Okay. All right, I'm assuming it's still going. I wasn't sure because I had logged off. Okay, so anybody just joining us, we're learning Linkin Park's One Step Closer. So many cool things in this song. Thanks, Akshay. Akshay. Did I pronounce the K? Akshay. Okay, so hopefully everybody has the material. And oops, what did I do? Let me get my. Okay, I think I had to readjust some of my pages here. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so if you're on that page with me, we're down now where it says verse part 1. So notice 2 D power chords. Oops, I realized that has the wrong fretboard where it says D power chord. Ignore that. I will fix that. If you're watching in this on the rewatch, it will be fixed. So our D power chord is just the open strings. And notice we have those 2 8th notes again, just like when we did the, right, 2 8th notes. Here's that same rhythm again. But this time we're gonna do 2 D power chords, 1 and then we need a click on beat 2. So I'm just dropping my left hand to stop the strings. I'm not pressing, they're just very lightly. When I drop my pick across the strings, I get this percussive click. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, okay? If you look right below that, you'll see the same thing, 1 and 2. Those clicks are marked by those little X's. we have 2 E's, again falling on the E of the beat, but that just is coincidence. It's that E is written there as 2 E and A, right? 16th notes. But if you look over to the right on the fretboard where it says octaves, you'll see the 2 E's. So it's the 7th fret of your 5th string and the 9th fret of your 3rd string. Here's the trick with those octaves though. Notice all the X on that fretboard. We don't want to hear 1 or 2 or 4 or 6. I'm blocking 6 by bringing my middle finger up. It's not pressing a note, it's just sitting there. 1 and 2 are being blocked by actually this first finger. It's kind of just sitting down across the strings, that's also blocking 4, which is allowing me to hit all 6 strings, but I'm only hearing these 2 E's. That takes a little bit of getting used to. You'll probably find when you first do that, there's lots of strings ringing, but that's where we're trying to go. So we're now going to go 1 and those E's I would get with an up. You could do them with a down too, but I would get those with an up. 1 and 2 E. Now you'll notice there's a repeat sign in that measure. I like to go when I'm practicing it, and eventually I'll have MP3s up here to go along with these. But why I wrote the notation file like I did, I would like to practice it like this: 1 and 2 E, 3, 4, 1 and 2 E, tick, tick, 3, 4. I like to have that little bit of space. From my years of teaching experience, it seems sometimes that little bit of space allows the brain to absorb the information and we start learning it quicker, as opposed to trying to just kind of run it right back to back, which could then sometimes start causing a whole bunch of problems. Hold on, I think okay, there we go. I thought I lost my thing. Okay, now B flat power chord, we're jumping down to the 3rd notation file here, is barred across our 8th fret. Normally it would look like this. But because we're tuned down, this is not a B flat now. That B flat has been moved to the 8th fret, which you might remember from the intro. That was the B flat that we hit with our pinky. So same B flat, this is our power chord. So we're going B flat to A, which is back a half step. Those are just 2 8th notes on beat 3. So 1 and 2 E, 3 and. Now, after the B flat to A, this time he doesn't have a click on beat 4, although it does sound cool to put one. So you guys can decide whether you want to put one, I should say, guys and girls, if you want to put a click there, or if you want to do, we're actually hearing an open D power chord again, to go 2 octaves on C. They look like your E, but we're now back on the 3rd fret of the 5th string and 5th fret of the 3rd string. Again, there's a graph there on the right that you'll see. So I had to go B flat to A, low D, up on that C. So all together, this is going. Oops, I didn't get those sounding very good. Here's with the click on 4 though too, if you go. So it sounds kind of cool with that click on 4 too, doesn't it? But it's not there. If you listen really closely to the record, we're hearing a D power chord again. We're hearing that. I love that riff. I think that riff is so cool. Isn't that fun? It's neat, eh? And this is why I said last week. I said we would devote the stream to like Linkin Park riffs off the record, and then I figured, well, we have to do this. Probably one of the more popular riffs that people know from old Linkin Park days. I mean, that's crazy now. That's 17 years ago. That's bonkers to me. Anyway, but it's nice to see they're back doing stuff, right? They have that new Castles of Glass, which we actually did in a stream last week or the week before. Was that for you, Castles of Glass? I can't remember who wanted to learn that. We did it for somebody. Okay, let's keep moving. So back to the page. How are you guys doing with this? Is this going pretty good? This is one of those tunes that I think, whether we like Linkin Park or not, or like that style of music, I think there's just a ton of educational stuff in this song, right? And it's fun to play. We're learning about drop D tuning. We're learning about harmonics, which we said at the end of the stream we might come back and talk a little bit more about what those harmonics are. And I had at the top of that page, I did have a few things, just our one notation file there to explain something I wanted to explain. Okay, so that's the verse riff. That runs through the whole verse. The only thing that I think really kind of changes is before the singing starts, it's quite kind of played very loud and aggressively. When the singing starts, it's quieter, and I think it might be muted a little bit. But it's the same riff, so it's just played a little differently. It's just played quieter, basically. I think muted a bit. Okay, let's go. Oh, I guess it was not you then, Akshay for Castles of Glass. I don't know, but we did that in a stream. Oh yes, it was me. Oh, I see. Sorry, I missed that above it. Yes, it was me. Yeah. So here we continue the Linkin Park. Stuff. So are we good to go? Let's keep moving. So we've learned the intro riff. Again, anybody just coming in, the link is in the description to register, but I've also just been posting here. I'll post it again. I've just been posting the link in the chat here. I'm going to post it one more time just so it's easy to get to. That's the material we're looking at, so you can come join us as you follow along in this live stream. So we're now to the pre-chorus riff. So we had our intro riff. To our the main riff for the verse. I still like clicking on 4 a lot. Okay, the pre-chorus. If you scroll down, you'll see the big headline pre-chorus. This is just going to be a G power chord, which would normally look like this. But again, because we're tuned down, our G is actually on the 5th fret. So it's just barred on the 5th fret there to give us a G power chord. Remember, we're only playing strings 6, 5, and 4. We don't really want to hear 1, 2, and 3. And I just kind of have my finger angled so that it's not pressing. If I pressed on all, I'd hear that. That takes a little getting used to too. You could also play it like that. Now, our rhythm has changed now. Let's take a look at this rhythm. And you'll notice something else cool about this pre-chorus. If you noticed in this on the staff on the page, it says 6/4. So this is a measure of 6 instead of our very common 4/4. And this riff is really, really simple. It's just this G power chord, 2/8 notes. Now, here's my favorite part. Look at the rhythm with the clicks. This is on beat 2 here. Down, up, which is 2E. There's nothing on the end of the beat, so the imaginary down, and back up on the up. So remember, I've just got my fingers blocking the strings here. 2E and up. Down, up, up. Down, up, up. That's the rhythm we want there. Down, up, up. Down, up, up. Down, up, up. Isn't that cool? So we're going 1 and 2E and. I would definitely try to strum that like that though. Down, up, up. The 2, the E, nothing on the and, that's the imaginary down, and back on the up. 2E and up. 2E and up. So if it was just one measure long, it would be this. 1, 2, 3, 4. But for some reason, they decided, let's do it for another 2 beats. So they do it for 6 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then into the chorus. Isn't that cool? Again, simple but neat, right? And a lot of very valuable educational stuff in that little bit of things. Oh, sorry, I gotta fix my chat again. I don't know why every time I come back to this screen, it seems like it's... Oh, I don't know. Okay, that takes us to the chorus riff. So we have our intro. To our to our verse. Notice sometimes I still do that click on 4. And then to our pre-chorus. And that's in every time and into the chorus we go. I don't remember what the words are. Okay, so once again in the chorus, it's that same rhythm that we learned at the beginning of this stream. It's our 2 eighth notes, then a 16th with a dotted eighth. 1 and 2 and a 3 and that's going to be the rhythm through this whole chorus with the exception of just the very last beat on that 4th measure where you'll see the E flat sus2. Okay, so let's do it. So chorus, we're now to chorus part 1, if you're with me. So let me just come back to my chat so I'm not missing anything. Again, anybody just coming in, the link is in the chat here. Please grab the material. It makes it a lot easier to follow along. Okay. So look at this. We have our 2 D power chords on beat 1 and again on beat 2. So just 1 and 2, right? Easy. 1 and 2. But there's that coming up on the E of beat 2. It's also a D power chord, but notice I have a little XII representing 12. It's the 12th fret. So we're going all the way to the... Sorry. I need new strings, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to fix that intonation problem. So on the E of beat 2 with the up, we're going to hit the 12th fret. 1 and 2 E. That's bugging me though. There's that rhythm that we learned in the beginning, right? But we're going to grab the D power chord an octave higher. Cool. So then let's scroll down a little bit more. We're going into chorus part 2. So that was beat 1 and 2 of that first measure. Now we're going to add beat 3 and 4. So beat 1 and 2, you'll notice, is the same. Then we're going to go to a C power chord, since that was D. C is back a whole step for 3 and then our A power chord is on the 7th. There's that same rhythm, so 2 eighth notes. A power chord on the 7th for down up. So just like we went, now we go. 1 and 2 E, 3 and 4 E. Cool? So far so good? How we doing? Everybody good? Oh, yes, I would do One by U2. Oh, yeah, I used to play One. Oh, wait. One Life, One Live. That's a great tune. I love that idea, N-Chain. I love it. Yeah, you know what? And I love that idea so much because I love that tune, and that would be great for the site. You may not have to wait for the live stream in 2 weeks, or maybe we do it next week with the AC/DC. But I might just do a lesson for that on the site because I would love you're a paying member of the site, which again, thank you so much, and I love that. I can't even begin to explain how important at this particular point in my life is, you know, that you're doing that. So I would love to build that lesson for you. So I might take a part of this afternoon and see if I can start putting that together for you. It's a great tune, and I'd love to do it. That would be a cool one to do a cover of too. I was just saying earlier today, haven't been doing covers. I'd like to. Actually, it says great. This tune is going well. Let's keep it rolling then, because we're making pretty good progress. Okay, so now notice the page gets a little bit messy here at the bottom because I ran out of time. So I'll guide you through it, but we have to actually scroll back up a little bit to where it says chorus riff because we now need to look at the rest of that chorus. So the rhythm stays the same, but the chords change. So B flat sus2 is what we need next, which is down. It should be beside that box, and it's not. This is we'll fix this and make this better. But you'll see that if you scroll back down below where we just were, chorus part 2, you'll see the B flat sus2. But basically, your B flat power chord we said was on our 8th fret, right? To make it a sus2, we're dropping the 3rd finger on the 10th fret of your 4th string. That's giving us a sus2. Sus2 means we're getting rid of the 3rd and replacing it with the 2nd. It's a cool sound, isn't it? So if we come back up here, and then we're going to need a G power chord, which I see that there is no G power chord on this page. That's funny. I built one and I just didn't. Oh no, it's up there by the. Oh yeah, that for the pre-chorus had the G power chord. Anyway, that's barred on the 5th, right? So we're going to do same rhythm, but we're starting with this B flat sus2 to that G power chord. 1 and 2 E. So if I go from my slide up a half step, make it sus2. Then to finish that measure, we move up to the 7th fret for A to E sus2, which looks like your B flat sus2, but back in 1st for the down up. So that's pretty much the chorus riff. It's kind of cool, right? Same rhythm all the way through. Boom, boom, ba-da, boom, boom, ba-da. 1 and 2 E, 3 and 4 E, right? So then all you really need to do is just the order of the chords. You get your D to your D, C to A, 10th to 7th, the sus2, B flat sus2, so it's 8th but has that 3rd finger, to G, which is 5th, back to A, you can move your 1st finger or your 3rd, back to the sus2. Now, the only thing that changes on the last, like, so you'll see it's, if you look at measure 3 there, it's the same as the first one. And measure 2 is practically the same as 4, except for beat 4. On beat 4, we're going to do 4/16ths instead of going down up. So basically, we're just going to add another down up after it. I forgot to put the picking in there. But down up, down up. That's the I'm about to break. That cool? Another fun riff, right? So that's the chorus. It's only one more to go. Oh, thanks, N-Chain. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. I'm having a lot of fun working on the site. Oh, I should probably. We should have closed that page. This, okay, all good. All good. Okay, let's finish this up. There's only one more. And this is probably my favorite part. It's the end riff. And this is it. That's the whole song. We just learned all of One Step Closer. And you can check it out and listen. And again, you have to be tuned down a half step to play along, which is a bit of a bummer. Right? So it's fun to play along with records, but it's a bummer when they're in different tunings. So, okay, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. So ending riff. So everybody's with me at the bottom of the page. Again, anybody just joining us, the link is here, posted by me, tripfuse, the little crown there, just in the chat. And did I end up posting it in the? Oh no, I'm not going to do that again because it might get messed up. But you can register below. There's a link, and you can register for to get all this material. Because right now you don't need to log in to get the material. It's just available by clicking on it. But as soon as the stream ends, you will have to be logged in. But it's still free. You just have to register, and then voila, you have it. Voila. Okay, let's finish this last riff. My favorite riff. Ending riff. We're at the bottom of the page. We're starting with an E flat power chord on beat 1. This is barred on the 1st fret. Remember we did the sus2 chord in the chorus. We just need a regular E flat power chord. To open D. 1 and. Now notice this rhythm is different than the previous. But bits and pieces of all of it. 1 and easy, right? Now, notice our clickies. There's a same thing we saw in the pre-chorus, right? And we're blocking the strings. We definitely want to go down, up, up, 2E and up. So 2E, there's nothing on the and, but we're doing an imaginary down. We're coming back up on the of the beat. 2E and up. 2E and up. So I'm going to go. See, already sounds really cool, doesn't it? Makes me want to like mosh around my living room and smash stuff. Okay, cool. Now let's look at beat 3. Beat 3 has 4/16 notes, 3 E and up. The first one is still a D power chord. Notice I don't have a D written above it, but it doesn't need to have one because the last power chord we played was a D. So when you're in a measure or a bar, where you call it a measure or a bar, you don't have to write the chord. Like if there's a chord slash and there's nothing written above it, you play the one that was last seen. So we're starting with D on beat 3, then F, which is barred on the 3rd. I would use my 3rd finger for this instead of my 1st because there'd be too much sliding around. Then E flat on the 1st, and then D again. So we're just going 3 E and up. Kind of heavy, eh? I believe it's all down picked. You could go down up on it. The clicks I would definitely go down up up. It just feels. And then you're working on your strum hand, which I'm a big fan of, like working consistently on that strum hand, right? So I would definitely go down up up on that. But this next part, I think it's down picked listing on the record. So open D, F on the 3rd, E flat on the 1st, open D. And anybody just coming in that doesn't realize we're in drop D tuning. So the beginning of this stream, we talked about dropping your low E to make it sound like D. To be able to rewatch the stream. I think you can actually rewatch it in the middle of the stream too, can't you? Okay, we're almost done. Beat 4, we're going to an A flat power chord. Now normally an A power chord would look like this. A flat would be back on the 4th. But again, because we're tuned down, it has us barred on the 6th. I'm missing a graph for that one. So actually, no, that's okay. Again, this is all going to get totally cleaned up here as soon as this stream is done. So I went from 3 E and a 4. And then the last part, 2/16 on the and to beat 4, back to open D to the F. So all together, I'm just going to do this part for a second. So the A flat, beat 4, open D to F. 4 E and up. I'm also just down picking those. 4 E and up. So if I back up to beat 3, and the whole measure. Something you may want to do too, you may want to practice that, like we were talking before, where you play it. Once you have the whole thing, I mean, obviously I'm a huge fan of the breakdown, right? So you may just want to go practice that a little bit. Maybe go back to the D power chord on beat 3. And then maybe beat 3 by itself. Then beat 3 to that A flat on beat 4. And then just beat 4 by itself. A flat, D, F. And then I put it together. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 1, 2, ready, go. So I like to practice a lot of times, again, where I have that space in between the measures to give my brain a chance to absorb the information. But without that measure, we have this. Not fun. And the very last part, here, let me just check in. I'm away from the chat for a moment. Looks like we're all good. Everybody's still good? It's fun, eh? I love this. I really had a lot of fun putting this together and having a lot of fun playing it with you guys today, you guys and girls. We're missing some of the regulars today, though. Some regulars in here, missing some regulars. Okay, very last part. So basically, that riff we just learned happens 4 times. And then on the 5th time, it's the very, very bottom of the page. The last notation file used C. The first 3 beats are exactly what we just did. That's the same. Okay, so all we're changing is beat 4. So beat 4 before was, right, A flat power chord, D, F, 8th note with 2/16. This time we're doing 8th note triplets, starting on the E flat for 2 of them, and then open D. So you know our 8th notes were 1 and 2 and bump, 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 bump. So our 8th note triplets are going triplet, triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. So far in this song, we have heard nothing in any kind of group of 3 like that, evenly spaced group of 3. Not counting, that was 3 notes in a beat, but not evenly spaced, right? We had a long, short, short. Evenly spaced, that's what these triplets are. So they sound really cool, but they only do it, they only do it 1 time. So they do this riff 3 times. I should mention too, you know when you do the A flat, the D to F, or maybe I already did, but I would hit the F with my 3rd finger also, like I did the A flat, because we then have to go back to E flat. So instead of having that big slide, right, if I go D, F with my 3rd, I'm ready to repeat the riff. Okay, so anyway, that riff is 3 times. On the 4th one, though, you have this. That's that triplet. So, isn't that cool? I love it. So let me play the ending riff 3 times, and then I'll put the triplet in on the 4th one. And then it goes back into the riff again. And then I think that is it. I think the only other thing that was in the song, then they go back to the chorus for the end of the song. There's 2 places where there's a measure of just 8th notes on E flat sus2 that just go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's how the song ends. So the very, very end of the song, when you come off that, the chorus. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just 8 8th notes. That's also in there earlier in the song before it goes into, I think before it goes back into that intro riff after the 1st verse chorus. But you can listen to that. But there is one place where we just hear this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that. Cool. So I said I said I was going to try to maybe make these streams a little shorter, like to 30 minutes, but maybe that was being a little unrealistic with the amount of material. Maybe sticking with my initial hours, maybe more likely. So that's the whole tune. You just learned one step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break. Whoops. the ending. Ah. Oops, played the wrong chord. Anyway, that was it. As always, you guys and girls, loved you being in here for this, taking part in it with me. I hope that you got something from it. The only thing we didn't explain at the beginning of the lesson, I was going to, and maybe we'll just take a quick second before we'll end at 2 or 4 minutes. If you go back to pretty much at the top of the page, just under the video itself, where it says Part 2, brief explanation of natural harmonics on the guitar in the perfect fourth and perfect fifth intervals. So I just wanted to show you something here. I'm actually using the A string only because we had the D tuned down. I didn't want it to be too confusing, but basically what happens when you play a harmonic on the 12th fret, we're actually hearing the same note as if you played the 12th fret. They're the same. So here's my low A, just the open A. The 12th fret gives me an octave higher A. If I play the harmonic on the 12th fret, that's the same. Yeah, I'm gonna sing so low. Low A, an octave higher, low A, an octave higher. Now, when you play the harmonic on the 7th fret, though, it gives us an E, but that E is also an octave higher than the sound of this E. So in other words, this harmonic was the same as the note we played, but this harmonic, if you play this E, it's not. It's an octave higher. So here's the sound of this E. Wait, can you even see the guitar? I realize I've had my guitar tilted weird. Sorry. So this E on my 7th fret, if I play the harmonic, is actually sounding like this E, an octave higher. And then the harmonic on my 5th fret is giving me an A. So this is actually a D note. So I'm not even getting, I'm actually hearing an A. And I'm hearing it an octave and a fifth higher than that D. It's way up here. So on my A string, my harmonics are giving me an A, an E, and an A. The 3 notes of an A power chord, right? If I play an A power chord, I'm gonna play it like that because we're tuned down, right? So it's like that for that. Isn't that cool? And that's basically on the laws of physics and how sound is transferred on a string that's connected to 2 points. And we have the halfway point is the 12th, and then we're dividing it up into thirds when we play the 7th, dividing it up into 4th. These are also creating what are called perfect intervals, and in some of the past live streams and stuff I've talked about intervals, major and minors, and then perfect, which are the 4th and the 5th in the octave. And they're called perfect because basically because of physics and what's happening with these harmonics. So that one, you can search up harmonics and the physics of guitar if you want to learn more about that, or maybe we'll devote a live stream to that at some point. I don't know. But anyway, that's it. So I'm glad we got to talk about that because that was on there too. I just wanted to show you that really quick. And that was just at the top of the page, and it basically just shows the A on the A on the 12th fret. Then if you have harmonic on the 7th, gives you that E. Harmonic on the 5th gives you A an octave higher. We're way up here now. And then if you get the 4th fret harmonic, it actually gives us a C sharp. So it's kind of cool about those natural harmonics. What do they end up spelling? An A major chord. So the natural harmonics on a string end up spelling the 1st, 3rd, and 5th degree of an A major scale. Cool, right? Anyway, we can talk about that at another point, but I just thought I would say that really quick because it's kind of neat. So I'm going to stop here. I just let everybody know because I don't know if you do, but so musiclearning.com has a Facebook page now. It's actually it's facebook.com/guitar with Teague is the name of the page, but it's the musiclearning.com page. And even though it's been online for a while, I'm just now kind of using it for the first time. I was never a big Facebook guy. But I'm using it to basically because I'm getting my hands wet with advertising and running ads on Facebook, and so I'm using the page. Anyways, but I've been using it. I've been posting updates and stuff on it. So facebook.com, I believe /guitar with Teague is how you would find me on there. And then yeah, and other than that, the link in the description will get you registered to find all the material that went with this stream. because that is going to be in a password protected part of the site, but it's totally free. So click the link below and just register, and then you get in for this past week's live stream and next week's live stream. The material is only going to stay up for so long, and then it will go into a paid member section, but it's up for a while, so it gives you a chance to learn the songs. And anything else? I think that's it. Thumbs up would be great. Oh, I would love if you guys would share, share the Facebook page, or share these videos, or share any of this stuff. Would be awesome. That would be very much appreciated. And yeah, like the video, comment below if you have anything you want to say. I'll pay attention. And yeah, that's it. Thanks guys for watching. I love that you guys were in here, and I'll see you next Saturday at 1, same time, same channel. And we might be AC/DC, might be U2. We'll see. I'm not completely sure yet. We'll figure it out, but I'll let you know, and the Facebook page will let you know that, or musiclearn.com, of course, too. Okay, thank you guys and girls, and we'll see you next week.